Oh, well, welcome back. This is a little bit over a week since the last time I uploaded. As of recording this, it's the Sunday before Memorial Day. I don't know exactly when I'm going to finish this video because, quite frankly, my computer's being an absolute fucking cunt. So, with that being said, and moving forward, just expect videos from me within a week or so from now on, at least till I get a new computer or get my computer situation figured out. But with that said, and moving on, let's jump right into this video, shall we? And much like the stereotype that gingers burn when a full moon is out, the stereotype that politicians lie and contradict themselves exists for a reason, as many contradictions do. For those of you who don't remember, Trump ran on a certain number of policies prior to his 2016 elections, one of which was to pull most, if not all, of the troops out of the Middle East, which had anti-interventionists, libertarians, and constitutional conservatives all cheering in unison, as amazing as that may be. Maybe we'll finally see an end to the countless bodies of not only U.S. citizens, but also Middle Eastern civilians as well. But then our cheers were stifled quite a bit with Moab that was dropped on Afghanistan, which was basically our way of dragging our balls across Syria and Russians' chins. Fast forward a couple years, and we're once again dipping our dicks in the company ink. Wait, that's not how that saying goes, I don't think. Anyway, ignore that. Anyway, as tensions with Iran rise, Trump approves sending 1,500 troops to the Middle East. So much for trying to leave. Hey there, Mr. President. Yeah, trying to leave. That's great. Putting more troops in. Fan-fucking-tastic. Anyway, I'll get to the Saudi firearms deal in a bit. But first, let's look into these tensions with Iran. And of course, the Pentagon is pretty damn cagey, as you can see here. Anyway, regardless, they're pretty damn cagey about it. But let's not pretend like that's anything short of typical. One could even find this little sideshow in regards to Iran's nuclear power to be extra unnerving as it goes along, more or less, with the increased amount of troops, the increased amount of nuclear weapons being bad, etc., etc. Escalation leads to escalation. We see this all the time. We've seen it before World War I and World War II. But unnervingness aside, it's still there and still needs to be addressed. But this is just another consequence of our intervention into the Middle East to begin with. And every time we seem to be getting to a conclusion, something always happens that pulls us back in. Like a bad relationship with an abusive significant other, we keep going back to. Yeah, sure. He beats me, but he loves me. Oh yeah, sure. We'll be getting troops out just as soon as we take care of this abusive dictator. We'll be getting our troops out. Yeah, same fucking scenario. Aside from that, the fact that despite there being an quote-unquote approval of 1,500, the Pentagon outlined a proposal of 10,000 troops, as you can see here, with the claim that this is all for the safety of the locals and to keep Iran in check in regard to their funding of militias, which, not to sound too tinfoil hat, coming from the United States is a wee bit hypocritical considering our funding of militia groups. But that hilarity aside, there is currently roughly 35,000 troops. That's from 2017 this data is from, so it might be more, might be less. But anyway, there's 35,000 troops scattered about the Middle East, and we're sending more. Sure makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It doesn't fucking make any fucking sense. But anyway, let's get into the Saudi deal, shall we? In this headline here, you can see the ultimate result of a system where we ascribe too much meaning and power to one figure. Trump shouldn't be able to go around Congress to sell weaponry to another country, whether that country is considered an ally or not. Congress does, after all, control the purse strings, And controlling the purse string should include, I don't know, firearms. But no. While we're at it, we'll make sure that nobody in the United States can get their hand on a military weapon. But we'll sell military weapons to our fucking enemies. This is fucking the epitome of political satire. So much for checks and balances, though. So as long as someone pays homage to a certain political agenda every 4 years, the unwashed masses seem to be content and turn a blind eye to what their government does. But that's a rant for another time. But doesn't it seem odd that we're selling weapons to a country that has, well, let's just say a shady past? And put aside all the vacuous platitudes and overly self-aggrandizing virtue signaling from glass houses and gated communities. Isn't it funny how the politicians that claim to be the most for equality and human rights and the people that claim to be constituents within that have no issues whatsoever with dealing with a country that violates human rights on a regular fucking basis? And we what, are going to arm the same very tyrants with weapons solely because they're on quote on the quote unquote other side of a political divide in the Middle East that arguably we created and helped fuel ourselves? That's a little too tinfoil hat to get into, and quite frankly, that tangent would dilute an otherwise concise video. But regardless, politicians need to be held accountable. And I was excited when Trump announced withdrawal of troops from the Middle East. And I'm being honest here. I was honestly excited about that. And the left cried about power vacuums and other such issues solely because it was a right-winger doing it. The hypocrisy of our politicians is an endearing quality. And maybe they're so brazen in their own lies and copacetic in their actions because they have puppet strings attached to them, whether that be from higher-ups or from people with the purse strings. But regardless, they still need to be held accountable for their actions. But I suppose the long short of it is, don't defend a politician just because their politics align with yours. Praise the things that they do that you agree with, and vigilantly denounce the things that vigilantly denounce and oppose the things you disagree with. And this whole dipping our feet back into the hellscape of the Middle East, even if it's just the tip of the baby toe, isn't going to end well. And Trump needs to be criticized for it. He's not devoid of criticism. And this is the reason why I get so fucking pissed off with the left when they're like, oh, well, he said this 15 years ago, and you should be upset about that. No, it's not the thing that he said in the fucking past that you should be pointing out, you absolute fucking spork. It's the thing that he's saying now. The things that he's doing now that you should be criticizing him for. But, oh, wait, never mind. I'm sorry. The left can't criticize him for that because they were supporting Hillary, and Hillary wanted the same exact fucking thing, so they'd be hypocrites in that. They'd be hypocrites in every other fucking sense, so why make an exception for this one? Oh, I get it. It's because the other one gets the fucking views. But anyway, that'll just about do it for this video. I'm sorry this is going to be a little bit later than I intended. But once again, I had computer troubles I had to fucking fight with. So, I should be all set for posting about every week or so. And give or take whether or not my fucking computer bursts into flames. But I'm looking into getting a new one. This one's from the fucking early 2000s. So, I'm basically working on what is in the computer world considered ancient technology. So, with that said, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and or night. And I will see you cunts in the next one.